Thank you very much, Minister.
My name is Melvin from Daily Guide. Honorable, somewhere last year there were protests from students of agricultural colleges demanding the restoration of their allowances. And you made a pledge to them that you're going to work towards that. I just want to know how far have you gone with that? Thank you.
Please, my name is Benis from Chronicle. Please, my question has to do with rice. For the figures you mentioned was alarming. And we, from the Planting for Food and Jobs, we heard a number of maize that has been produced. But you didn't give us any figures on rice, or rice was not part of the project, if you can tell us. And also with the maize, you mentioned that the farmers are not using the improved seeds. Please, have you found out why they are still using the local? Because I was once at a workshop, and according to some of them, even though they will plant the improved seeds, they will still plant the local ones for their use. So if you can tell us something bit about it. Thank you.
My name is John Akampala, GBC Radio. The fall armyworm. Honorable Minister made some interventions that have been put in place to fight it. Recently, it has resurfaced in the Upper East region, precisely the Bongo and then the Kasana-Nakana area there. I want to know what is the state of it now.
Thank you very much for the questions. I have my experts with me, so I'm very well armed to answer the questions. I'll be calling on them to come and give the comprehensive answers to you. At the student loan scheme, the protests and all that, the person who has been leading the charge on this is Honorable Odro. So I would invite the Deputy Minister for Horticulture to come and inform the House exactly what has been achieved so far.
Thank you, Mr. Minister. Concerning the students who were agitated at the Ministry for Job Placement and the restoration of their allowances, the Ministry is happy to inform you that we took part of them as part of the extension officers for the Planting for Food and Jobs. And just last month, they've been enrolled at the Students Loan Scheme. So from next academic year going, all students registered under the agri colleges are going to enjoy the Students Loan Scheme to be financed by as directed by the Ministry of Finance.
I'm surprised the lady is talking about the fact that she didn't hear anything about rice. Rice is very central to what we are doing. And I think I gave a few figures. If he's really keen on them, he should see me later on. I'll give him the figures, because I don't want to repeat what I've said. It may have escaped her. All the figures are here. We said that production from PFJ on rice was 179,000 metric tons. I said that. So if there is any more information she needs, she can always come to us and we'll give them the figures. The fall armyworm. The director of PPRSD, Dr. Profe, is here. She is very qualified to answer that question. So may I invite you, please, madam, to come and answer.
The question on fall armyworm at the Upper East and the Northern sector. I met the media earlier this year and explained that the fall armyworm has come to stay. It is not only in Ghana, but throughout Africa. And that we have put up measures that will help us manage the fall armyworm. In the case of Brazil, they have had a fall armyworm with them for the past 40 years. but they are able to cultivate, manage, and export to other countries. And this is what we also intend doing. So I gave out all the measures, the short, medium, and long-term measures. And in the case of Upper East, when the outbreak came out, media personnel there contacted MOFA, and our officers there explained everything to them. In outbreak proportions, the surest measure is to control with pesticides. And this year we are using more of biorational pesticides than the synthetic pesticides. And our officers also explained, just as I did some time back, that when there's an outbreak in the communities, the farmers are to contact the agri-extension agents, who will then give them the necessary support by prescribing pesticides and then advising us on how to go about it. So when you take the Upper East, Northern, and the Upper West regions, we have already sent pesticides to these regions, and I want to mention the quantities. Northern region, we've sent over 2,000 liters of pesticides, that is those in liquid, and the powder form over 1,700 kg. This is to cover an area of 21,000 hectares. In the case of Upper East, we have sent over 2,000 liters and over 1,000 kg, which also caters for over 19,000 hectares. For Upper West, we've already sent 2,100 liters and 1,135 kg of biorational pesticides. And this is also to cater for over 22,500 hectares. So as it stands now, we are prepared to tackle this problem, and our farmers are being advised when they get the problem, they should contact our extension agents or go to the Department of Agriculture, and we'll help them solve the problem. Thank you very much.
Sorry, the lady who asked the question about rice also asked the question about maize. The maize farmers are planting the traditional seeds. The fact of the matter is that last year, the improved maize that we distributed was 2,370. And we didn't get any rejects. I mean, rather, they were coming to us for some more. That's why this year we are increasing it to 5,500 metric tons. They may be planting the traditional alongside the improved seed because, of course, the taste of the traditional is different from the taste of the improved seed. And as I said, maize is one of the basic ingredients for our diet. So maybe it's a taste which enables them to stick to planting the improved seed and the traditional seed. But definitely the trend is for the uptake on the improved seed because the difference in yields are just incredible. I mean, I don't think anybody who is given the opportunity to plant the improved seed will reject it because of taste. They are very, from what the figures I've given, they are very adaptive, they are very interested in taking it, except that we need to give them the extension guidance for them to do the proper way of cultivation so that they can get the maximum yields out of that. Thank you.
My name is Daniel Asuku for Rainbow Radio International. In recent times, the Poultry Farmers Association of Ghana have been complaining that they lack enough grain, that's maize, to feed the poultry. And we did a follow-up to the market, whether indeed there was the shortage of maize. And some of the market women also compared this year to that of last year around the same period, and they realized that there was a kind of shortage. So when we spoke with the authorities, we got the information that there was enough maize in the market. Thankfully, the Honorable Minister has just shown us some of the buffer houses, and then we got one from Tema. I want to ask, na Ebronu wahi, if there is indeed enough buffer houses in the country, where are the rest, so that these people can go there and then get them for us, because without them we may starve. And then my second point and last one is got to do with yam dealers. those who convey yam from the farms to the cities are complaining that the axle load inspectors on the road do bother them a lot, such that they don't have any kind of mechanism on the farms, so that when they are loading the trucks, they can at least be informed that to this point it's enough. So sometimes they tend to overload the truck a little bit, and then considering the distance, when they load to that minimum that they will be free of the checkpoint, it means that they would have a lot to incur by way of cost. So what is the ministry doing to help these people? Just since the minister said there's a lot underground by way of transport to help them. Thank you very much.
I'm Catherine Frimpoma, Onua FM. My first question has to do with the rice imports. When the minister, during his presentation, the chart he gave had up to 2015. So I was wondering what the figures are for 2016, 2017, when it has to do with importation of rice. And then also, someone also wants to know if the ministry is aware that farmers have difficulties accessing fertilizers. Some of them are asked to produce some coupons to access the fertilizer subsidy. So I want to know whether the ministry is aware and what steps is being taken to address them. Thank you.
My name is Julius K. from the Ghana News Agency, and I want to find out, we all know that research is very important with regards to the development of agriculture in the country. We want to find out what the ministry is doing to increase support for research in the sector, taking into consideration research coming from our institution, agric institutions. And then also I want to find out what the ministry is doing to solve the challenges young farmers face with regards to land tenure system. Thank you.
My name is Patrick Bufoyuji from Martinkan FM. My question is quite similar to my colleague from Onua FM. I would like to know how the distribution of the fertilizers and the improved seeds, how the distribution was done, the mode, because some farmers still complain that they were not able to access the fertilizers. Thank you.
Rainbow Radio, shortage of maize. The Deputy Minister for Horticulture took the trouble to follow up on this so-called shortage. So I would like to invite him.
The shortage of maize news broke out about almost 2 months ago, and we did extensively well to track the maize, and I'm happy to tell you that Ebrono LBA. So we have the biggest maize market in Ghana. It's located at Techiman. So if you want to look for Ebro in larger quantities, you better go to Techiman. Any quantity, you get it there. But the bottom line concerning this shortage was, in fact, the Planting for Food and Job has struck a success which you are yet to let you people know. 2015, there was an importation of maize to the tune of 130,000 metric tons. And 2016 was 70,000 metric tons. 2016 was 2017 was 41,000 metric tons. From that date as at up to today, there has not been a single maize or a bag of maize imported into this country. And it's because of the Planting for Food and Job. So this news that came was from those who import the maize. They were trying to find opportunity to import the maize to disrupt the intervention of the Planting for Food and Jobs. But thankfully, the program was so successful, as I speak to you now. Ebrono Bebri Waterchiba. There is no shortage of maize as being speculated by these importers. And now, the most fortunate thing about it is that they came to the ministry. You know, the ministry gives permit for the importation of maize So the minister told them, you have enough maize from the planning for food and job. But they kept on pressing. So the minister gave permits for 4 institutions, which you can't put their names out. But the one of them that was bringing the unfortunate news was the Poultry Farmers Association. And they were among the 4 the permits were given to them. Today, the price of maize on the international market is even higher than the price of maize in Ghana. If you import maize, by the time you get to Ghana and you clear it, you will be making losses. So those who even received the permits were unable to import because they realized the international market has gone up. Clearly shows that we as a country, we are getting there. Like the minister said, you want to stop the importation of some basic food items. And fortunately, as of now, we can inform you that we are getting there so far as maize is concerned. So there has not been any maize importation and there has not been any maize shortage. So Ebrono, Bibri or B, Techiman. So it's a good news as a ministry and it's a good news for the whole country. If you team up and you work hard as we are doing, fortunately, by a year or 2, some basic food items, there wouldn't be any importation. So if anybody tells you there has been a shortage of maize, it's not true. There were some people trying to create that scenario, but we later proved them wrong because we showed them exactly where the maize is located, which is the biggest market in Ghana, maize market, that is Techiman. So there are still plenty of maize there. I have some of the dealers' numbers. So any of you can contact me, I can give them the numbers. You can cross-check or you can go there and see for yourself that there's no shortage of maize. A Brody Baby or Techiman. Thank you.
That's a new slogan, a Brody Baby or Techiman. Okay. Mr. Rainbow again, that yam dealers are complaining about the axle load and asking what the ministry can do about that. I think that we need access to weighing bridges. If you are coming all the way from the, say, Sabalugu with yams, you have to make sure that you are not stopped, that you comply with the law. There's a reason why there's a limit on axle load. They spoil our roads. Roads are expensive to build. We're talking about $1 million per kilometer, $800,000 per kilometer to build roads for all of us to use. So if you want to destroy it in a matter of years, obviously the law will deal with you. So it behoves the traders, to the drivers and so on, to ensure that they comply with the law. That's my answer to it. Now, Onua rice imports, 2016-2017. You are right. I've been struggling with the statistics, the Ghana Statistical Service, to try and update those figures. Don't forget, this is what I showed you was from an article that I wrote in the graphic, the daily graphic, about 3 years ago, when 2015 was, that was in 2016 that I wrote that article. So since then, I've been in touch with the Statistical Service. The point is that they rely on GCNet, GRA, and others. So it takes a while before you can really get to the bottom of it. So the lady should exercise some patience. At the appropriate time, you will read from me in the graphic updating the information. Thank you. Now, on the research in the sector, yes, there's a paucity of resources into research in agriculture in Ghana. I'm the first to admit that. And if you look at the amount of work coming out from our institutes and universities in terms of publications, they have really slowed down compared to the 60s when we were students at these institutions. They've really slowed down. And the one reason is that there's not enough money. Even the lecturers themselves, there's a ban on recruitment of lecturers. So it's a very serious situation that confronts this country, and it's not just yesterday. It's been there for quite some time. And this government is working very hard to see how best to resolve it. I have a proposal to make, which is to adopt the Ivorian system or the Francophone system. And the Francophone system works in such a way that all the commodities come under one roof and controlled by a council of 22 men and women. 20 of them are in the private sector. So you get people from cocoa, cashew, from mango, from this and that, forming the council, and they levy themselves. I mean, from the farm gate, the processors, the exporters, the traders, and all that at every stage. They put it in a common fund from which they finance research, development, and all kinds of things. So it's a model that we can learn from, in order that we make sure there are enough resources going into our agriculture, agricultural research. So that's what I can say to the GNA representative who asked the question. Now, young farmers on land tenure, that is an issue which keeps coming up. But I don't think that is the lack of access to land which is preventing young people from going into farming. It's rather they see the evidence, their parents and their grandparents are in poverty. So everybody will runs away from poverty. So that is, if we make it lucrative enough. When I was growing up in Ashanti New Town in Kumasi, it was Ashanti New Town. It was a new town built by cocoa farmers traveling hundreds of miles to go and farm for 7-8 years and come in with their proceeds to build. So that's how I got interested in agriculture. I thought I'll be rich when I grow up by going into agriculture. No, I'm serious. So we have to make agriculture attractive to the youth for them to do that. And this is why we are putting up these, the greenhouse villages and so on, trying to sponsor some of them to go and work and get experience from abroad, Israel, and so on, so that they can come and we can set them up to be role models for other youth to come into vegetables and high-value crops like that. So we have started in a very small way, but we have started. We recognize that we need to have role models, like I had when I was a little boy growing up in Kumasi. The cocoa farmers were my model. And we want to create vegetable farmers who will go back to their towns and so on, driving in their Mercedes-Benzes and so on, so that the others will be attracted to it. That's the only solution. Because, I mean, when it comes to land, to be honest, we have surplus land. I mean, all the tracts of land you see from from Tamale to Bolga, left and right, all the land you see going down to all the kinds of places. I mean, we do, I don't think land is really a constraint. It's rather the incentive for the young people to ensure that when they go in there, they can have a living which is even better than their counterparts wearing ties and sitting in air conditions in Accra. Thank you. Distribution of inputs, how is it done? I think on that score, I would call upon Mr. Asante Krobia or Mr. Akutu to come and explain how the distribution was done. They are the experts in these areas.
I want to use this opportunity to educate the general public how we have come up with modalities for the implementation of 2018 subsidy program. Complaints came out, and then we needed to put and streamline these decisions. The first one is that management has decided that if you do not access improved seeds, or if you have not been registered electronically, you can access seeds. 2, fertilizers. You can also access fertilizers anywhere if you are within the district or the region. So I'm using this opportunity to inform the general public that if you want to access seeds, you can access seeds from our district offices throughout the whole country. Similarly, if you want to access fertilizers, go to your nearest Agric Extension Office to liaise with the extension officers. They will give you the coupons, and you can go to any market, any district, because the basis for awarding these contracts to those that you are working with, that you should have a wider distribution network throughout the whole country. So it's possible that one district, you can have all the companies present, so that anybody who is having a coupon can go to any of these companies to access the fertilizers. So that is the information that we have given out. So please, educate our farmers, and if you are challenged, you can contact us, and also we can also educate you how to access fertilizer. Thank you.
My name is Abrokwa. I write for the Daily Statesman. I would like to find out if the pesticides to fight the armyworm is for free, or I need to pay a token before I can get my supply. Thank you very much.
My name is Kwabna Edu Jemfi. I report for TV3. Please, I'd like to find out, under the Planting for Food and Jobs program, the number of jobs that have been created so far, are these employees or workers employed directly under the program or by individual farmers? And apart from that, I'd also like to find out if they are permanent employees or they are going to work, or they are working based on contract, as in during the crop season they work, and then if that is the case, what then happens after a crop season? Does it mean that they go back jobless? Thank you very much.
My name is Kofi Emmanuel. I work with Radio Good. I want to find out from the minister the state of the Commander Sugar Factory.
My name is Paulina Aka. I work with Easy FM. Honorable, we know agriculture is the cultivation of crops and raising of animals. However, the Food and Jobs program seems to forget about animal farmers, even though yearly we import millions of frozen chicken. What is the ministry doing about it? And also, are there measures by the ministry to discover youth who have passion in agriculture in the rural areas? What measures are the ministry taking?
My name is William Ivan Sinkum. I'm from GH1 Television. I would want to know, with a population of over 29 million, what is the current state of our food basket? Thank you.
My name is Mensa Richard. I work with Radio GIG. I have 3 questions. And my first question is, the minister made mention of that at the time they were in opposition, poverty was endemic. I would like to know what is the statistic for poverty as we speak now. And then my next question is, we have 5 agricultural colleges in Ghana, and then he mentioned of planting for food and jobs. I want to know what is the connection or what has it done so far with connection with these 5 colleges in Ghana. And then my last question is, he said planting for food and jobs has produced a whole lot in the country. A research conducted recently indicates that prices of food has increased. So I would like to know the food that he said his ministry is producing, where are they being stocked and why is it not being realized in the market? Thank you.
My name is Jedidiah Patrick Anefi. I report for Accra FM. I would like to know, the planting for food and job forms part of the government flagship policy in terms of giving employment to the youth. I want to know, it's one of the criticisms being raised about this policy is that it lacks an empirical funding policy. How are we funding this? An empirical funding policy. There's no a definite funding policy. Where are we getting our source of funding for this policy?
Minister, these are the final questions. Let's get responses. Daily Statesman, armyworm pesticides, are they free? Yes, they are free. So you see your extension officer or at your district office. We have stocks at the regional level, we have stocks at the district level, and we have stocks with the extension agents. So unlike last year when it took us by surprise, this year we are well stocked of 6 pesticides, insecticides, which have been tested by the food and by the National Standards Board Authority and have been recommended to us. 6 of them, and you get them anywhere that you go to in your district, you will receive that. TV3, number of employees, permanent or contract workers. I would like to invite Mr. Santi Krobia, my technical advisor, to answer that question.
I think the issue about jobs that have been created under the Planting for Food and Jobs has been resurfacing, and I think the media, we have interacted with you, but I'll give some highlights. I want us to look at the definition of job, not in the context of Ministry of Food and Agriculture, but in the context of the International Labour Organization. If you have pen and paper, you can write. It says, in the context of ILO, a job created for somebody, that if a person who during a specified period, such as 1 week or 1 day, performed some work for wage or salary in cash or in kind. If somebody performs some work for profit or family gain in kind or in cash with an enterprise such as a business, farm, or service, is classified as job. I think I'm done. With this definition, it says when somebody performs work and you even give him a bowl of maize as payment and the fellow accepts it, the fellow has done a job. I think the questioner wanted to really dive into what employment is. He wanted to know if those who do job at the farm, they are giving certificates and they are giving tenure of job. Like you go to work at GBC or Ministry of Agri, they give you employment paper and they say you have to work for 3 years, this year for probation and this for that. I think that is where he was driving towards. But when we look at the context of job by international standards, if you are able to engage somebody within 1 week to work even for 1 day and you pay the fellow, by international standards, the fellow has done a job. With this, it means the statement from the Ministry of Food and Agriculture that we engaged 750,000 jobs, we created 750,000 jobs, is even far, far, far below. How did we go about our estimation? We looked at the entire value chain of crop production. And then we used the basis of increases in acreages that the Planting for Food and Jobs has brought into the Ghanaian farming system. You see, farmers farm every year, and farmers have been farming all these years. Since 2008, government has been distributing fertilizer at the subsidized rate, and farmers have been accessing it. So if farmers are farming in 2017, it's no news. That is what somebody will say. Our analysis is based on the additional acreages, additional inputs that were supplied in 2017. Like if, say, every year somebody eats 1 bowl of fufu, and for this year you gave him some multivites and he eats 2 bowls, it means the additional bowl is what the fellow has eaten. So our analysis is based on the additional acreages, additional input distributed within 2017 that brought additional production. Based on that is what we did our estimation. So all those who were engaged mathematically to have supported that additional acreage, the additional input distribution, the additional output that came from the additional acreages, those who handled it along the value chain, that is the estimation that we did to be able to arrive at the 745,000 jobs, 50,000 jobs that we have been talking about. So with this definition that I've given you, and with this explanation, I think it's enough. If you want mathematical details, come to our office. We'll sit you down and calculate by value chain, point by point, and give you the exact way we arrived at it. Thank you very much.
That's the empirical evidence. Okay. Easy FM. animal farmers forgotten. The young lady was saying we forgot, but I think I devoted quite a bit of my energy explaining what we are doing in livestock development. Maybe she joined us later on. So I wouldn't want to repeat myself because the day is gone far. She can come to the ministry. We'll give her all the information that we put out this morning. Accra FM, job creation, empirical funding. Oh, we've dealt with that. Sorry? Funding. Yes, empirical funding, yes. Yeah, it's GOG. I think I said that. That this is in the budget for last year, and this year too is in the budget of the government of Ghana. There are, initially a lot of development partners were very skeptical about what we were trying to do, either because of not understanding what we were trying to do or just plain not accepting. Because they are used to rather telling incoming governments, do this, do that. But this time we came and said, this is where we are going. We want you to support us. So none came last year. But subsequently, seeing the results and so on, a lot of our development partners are now coming on board. So in future, I'm hoping that more and more of them will join with their resources to strengthen the program and make it a permanent feature in Ghanaian agriculture. So for now, it's GOG, Government of Ghana, funding planting for food and jobs. And for your information, last year, the government spent 450 million Ghana cedis on the program, Impulse and others, and 1.2 billion Ghana cedis of income was generated at the farm gate by the program. So by any measure, whether it's economic or financial, it's been really, really worthwhile to carry this program. So it's put 1.2 billion Ghana cedi in the pockets of the 202,000 farmers who participated, in exchange for which government spent 450 million Ghana cedis. That's for your information. Now, that's Accra FM, GH1 TV, current state of our food, enough food to feed Ghana. Yes, I think that was comprehensively answered in my presentation. In the subsequent explanation given in this question and answer series, as Honorable Odro, the Deputy Minister in charge of horticulture, said, the price of maize today in Ghana is far lower than the price on the Chicago exchange. This is why there has been no impulse. If there was a true shortage, the local price, dollar equivalent, should be higher than the international price. But it's below. This is why people that I gave permits to import, they realize that business-wise, they will lose money. So that this is a real empirical evidence.
Well, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. We've come to the end of today's proceedings. I believe that many have been enlightened by this. I want to hope that it brings some illumination to the work that the Minister for Agriculture has been doing. I also believe that perhaps it has touched one or two hearts to want to go back to their village chief and ask for a plot of land and then begin to plant something. I am certainly encouraged, and this year I'm going to be counted amongst farmers in this country. And I think I've told the minister severally, I'm going to do cashew and I'm going to do maize. I think that would help all of us to, if you want, ensure the food security that the young man is talking about.